Hello YouTube. Kenos here, the African Techpreneur, and today I want to share with you some great opportunities that are going to be rolling out this year on Techpreneur School. So thank you for joining us. Keep it locked, and if you haven't yet, hit the subscription button below and the notifications bell so that you get more videos like this when we release them. Welcome to the show. Today, I want to talk to you about Ponzi schemes and what has been happening in Kenya over the past couple of months. Welcome to the show. So, guys, you've probably heard of it by now. There was this gig called Amazon Web Workers. It was a website that claimed to provide some online employment for people. You know, it claimed that people could be able to make up to 5 or 10k a day, but after people had invested in it for a while, it dropped out. So for those maybe who do not have the details, you might be wondering, Amazon Web Worker, that sounds like it's affiliated with the Amazon brand. You know, Amazon, the company by the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos. But that is not the case. Actually, Amazon Web Worker was just, piggybacking off the hype of the Amazon name, but it had nothing at all to do with the Amazon group. In fact, Amazon Web Worker was just a website that had been registered by some fraudulent people, and it was trying to pass off as having some association of sorts with Amazon. But the truth is, the website was not listed anywhere on the Amazon website, on the main Amazon website, or on any of its affiliate lists. So it was not affiliated with Amazon in any way. And I did not personally join Amazon Web Workers, so I'm not very sure how it worked. But from what I could see, it had some, typical characteristics of Ponzi schemes. Whereby most of the money that was being paid off to people came from those who had been recruited after them. So the way it worked was somebody was getting recruited, they pay some cash, then when they recruit other people, they are paid with that cash, and so on and so forth, in a manner that was not really sustainable. Different amounts of money in it, and depending on the amount you've invested in it, you are getting certain returns. But eventually, once the promoters of the scheme saw that they had, collected a big enough bag, they just switched off the website and they disappeared with everybody's money. So that is how people lost a bunch of cash on the Amazon Web Worker scheme, Ponzi scheme. I hear some people lost as much as 300,000. I know personally some of my friends who lost varying amounts. Some lost 5,000, some 10,000. And what really amazes me is that these scams are nothing new. Before Amazon Web Worker, we had that other one called Crowd One, I believe. And after Crowd One, there was that other Ponzi scheme. I can't really remember the name off the top of my head, but I just remember there was another one. There was another one called Cash 24. That also made away with people's money. So we've had this consistent stream of Ponzi schemes and scams basically that have been rolling out one after the other. And the amazing thing is that Kenyans keep on falling for them. And when I look at some of my friends who lost money in the latest scheme, that Amazon Web Worker thing, these are not dumb people. These are not uneducated people. These are some of the smartest guys I know. But I just came to learn that Kenyans are very interesting people. Even when they know something is a scam, they will still go into it because they believe they are smarter than the scammers and they can get out with money before the thing collapses. So the kind of understanding that I got once I spoke to some of my friends and I was asking them, okay, like, did you not know this was a scam when you were going in? And a lot of them were frank with me. They were like, hold on, Wes, we knew this was a scam. We knew this was a Ponzi scheme. But we also knew some of our friends who had made money from Ponzi schemes. And they had made money from these particular Ponzi schemes. These are people who came in early. they were able to, get their money back, recoup the initial investment, and then some. So they ended up making a good profit, and they walked out of the scheme before it fell, and they were able to live with good profits. So some of my friends who signed up for Amazon Web Worker signed up under this kind of rationale. They came in knowing that they're gonna put in their money, they are gonna wait for the money to multiply, and then they're gonna get out before the thing collapses, and so they're gonna profit. Of course, plans don't always work out like we lay them, and so a lot of these friends ended up losing money, varying amounts, one way or the other. And the interesting thing is, a lot of them are waiting for the next Ponzi scheme, and when it comes around, they will know it is a Ponzi scheme, but they will still get in. Why? Because they believe they'll be able to get in early, and they'll be able to profit and get out. So this is what I'm saying. Kenyans are interesting. In most places, people would hear that it's a Ponzi scheme and really keep off of it, keep away from it, because they are afraid of getting their fingers burnt. But in Kenya, people hear it's a Ponzi scheme and they run towards it, because everybody believes that somehow they're gonna be the ones who profit from it. I know it's a very hilarious state of affairs. It reminds me of the CEO of Safaricom a while back. A previous CEO of Safaricom, Michael Joseph, who had an interesting one-liner. There was this one time he said that Kenyans have very, what was the word? Was it unusual calling habits? But yeah, basically something about Kenyans and their habits being very queer or unusual. And so I guess this is testimony to that, right? People knowing that something is a scam, but they still rush into it because they want to scam the scammers. That is something that only a Kenyan would do. And it was interesting anyway for me to see how the whole thing played out. As I mentioned, this is not the first time we're having a Ponzi scheme. Before Amazon Web Worker, we had that Cash 24, we had Crowd One. We've had a string of these things as far as I can remember. Every year we have 6 or 7 of them, and I know this year they're just getting started, so we're going to have even bigger Ponzi schemes coming up in the latter half of this year. Wait for them, and you're going to see in the news a lot of people are still going to fall for them. So maybe that begs the question, why do Kenyans keep on falling for these Ponzi schemes? Is it that people really want to invest but they don't have viable investment options? Or is it simply a matter of greed, that a lot of Kenyans simply want to put in their money somewhere where it will multiply tremendously under very unreasonable rates of growth? When I look at schemes like Amazon Web Worker, they were giving 38 point something percent growth week on week. It's crazy to imagine that somebody expects they can put their money somewhere and it will have grown by over a third of the original amount within 1 week. So it's interesting that that Kenyans keep on falling for this, and I'm not really sure if it's because they don't have more viable investment options, or it is simply a matter of greed. I tend to think there might be a bit of causative factor from both sides, but probably greed plays a bigger role in this. Either way, I guess the takeaway is, if you don't want to lose your hard-earned money, think twice about joining a Ponzi scheme. And I'm going to be very specific when I say Ponzi scheme, because you do have a lot of legitimate and genuine schemes or genuine businesses that are based around the pyramidal structure. So the pyramidal structure in itself has no problem. Network marketing is something that has been there for ages, and it works and it is very successful. But I'm talking about legitimate, genuine network marketing. Ponzi schemes, these ones where the only money that is being circulated is money that is derived from bringing in new members. That one is something that is very different. So do not necessarily equate Ponzi schemes to pyramids. The pyramidal structure can be used in a legitimate business, or it can be used in a Ponzi scheme, in a pyramid scheme. But Ponzi schemes in general are not good, And I would advise anybody to really be critical when they're getting into any organization or any investment group. Try and find where the source of money that goes to pay you, where does this money come from? Is it coming from a legitimate business that this business is doing, a profit generating business, or is it coming simply by roping in more people into the scheme? If you can be able to figure this out, then you have your answer. And so we are going to be releasing some very legitimate alternatives for investors. If you're somebody who's looking for a place to invest, Techpreneur School has come up with some new investment program, and we're going to be sharing that in future videos. So keep it here. If you haven't yet, hit the subscription button below and hit the notifications bell as well, so that you can get informed when we release new videos just like this, to empower you, to expose you to good, legitimate areas where you can invest in, and to basically give you information to help you avoid falling for some of these Ponzi and some of these scams that seem to be popping up all over the place every now and then. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.